Hello, today we are going to be working on parallelograms, day 2, diagonals and alternate interior angles. Okay, so you already opened this. So now next what we're going to do is I want you to review something that we learned in Geometry A. So make sure you translate this if you need help. Okay, so open this up and what do we get? This is something we learned in the first trimester. It's called alternate interior angles. Make sure that you translate it if you need to. And read this. It's not very long. It's just right here. Only this part right here. Okay. So what happens is, and let's do this one right here. Focus on this part right here. Okay. So when you have angles like this, these two lines are parallel. Right here, these are parallel, right? And the third line right here is called a transversal. This thing right here. Okay. These are, you can click on this if you want, parallel lines or these two, vertical angles. So now we have angles, corresponding angles are the same. Okay, so if you want to click on that to review it, that's fine. But the important thing we need to get is alternate interior angles. So when you have two parallel lines like this, the angle over here on the inside, interior, inside, is the same as the other side of the transversal over here. Okay? So that's what they say. So C and F are the same, right? They're on different sides. They're both inside the parallel lines, and but they're on opposite sides of the transversal. Same thing with D and E. So this angle right here is the same as that angle right there. Okay, that's called alternate interior angles. Okay, so that's what we're going to learn about today. So what does that mean? Okay, so let's look at an example. So if I have two lines, oops, I've got to get my marker. Come on, marker. There we go. Okay, so if I have two lines, right, and these two lines are parallel, right? Remember the symbols? And I get a third line that is a transversal that crosses those, then I form angles, right? There's an angle right here, there's an angle right here, okay, angle right here, etc. All the way around these points, there are angles. Now, alternate interior, remember, interior is on the inside. So that means that the angles here, oh, come on, there we go. That means that this angle right here is going to be the same. So it's on the interior, right, inside the, okay, so it's inside the, oops, there we go, inside the parallel lines. So that's, can you think about what other angle is going to be the same as this one? Well, it would be this one right here, okay? There we go. So for example, if this one right here is, say, 30 degrees, oops, come back, 30 degrees, this would also be 30 degrees, okay? But also something maybe you might remember is that if you have any two lines that are, or two angles that are next to each other, do you remember what this one right here is? Okay? Well, it's a linear pair, right? So anytime you get that, it'd be 30 plus x equals 180 degrees, right? So minus 30, that would be, x would equal 150. But that's this one right here, right? That would be 150. But the one I'm talking about today is alternate interior angles are the same. Okay. Okay. The reason I'm talking about this is because we are learning about parallelograms. So let me draw a quick parallelogram. Okay, so on our first lesson, we've already learned about parallelograms. Opposite sides are parallel. So this side here and this side here are parallel. And this side here and this side here are parallel, and that's what these symbols represent. But we also know about angles, that the opposite angles, this angle and that angle, are the same, right? But what we're going to do today is we're going to add a diagonal to it, and we're going to think about how that affects the angles. So I'm going to put line, oops. Okay, so now that I put a diagonal there, it also cuts the, we create two new angles, right? Instead of having just one angle right here, this angle and this angle, now we have, or one big angle, sorry, we now have two angles, okay? Same thing over here. We have this angle over here and this angle over here. Now, the way to think about it is kind of like over here, alternate interior angles. So whenever we have a parallelogram, think about this line right here as a transversal, okay? It's like the transversal over here. It's like this one, right? So what it does is it ends up if you think about these lines like that, and over here, sorry, this should be more like that. What this ends up doing is, if these are like parallel lines, because this line and this line are parallel, you end up getting this angle here. So let me go ahead and put that in red so we can see it. this angle here, right, is going to be the same. And really, when you think about it, it's, oh, God dang it. This angle here is going to be the same as the angle created with the transversal and this line over here on this side, right? And it's going to be the opposite side. So it's on this side of the angle. Where we go over here, it's going to be on the alternate side, so it's going to be the same as this. So this angle right here is going to be the same as this angle right here. And this angle here, let me put this in a different color. And this angle here is going to be the same as this angle here, okay? Because they're on opposite sides. So that's what we're going to be using today to figure out how to solve problems. Okay, so I'm going to go to the assignment now. Okay, so go ahead and open the assignment. And remember to open it up in Kami, right? So we can make, so you can mark it up. Okay, so when you open it up, you see this problem right here, okay? So let's go ahead and do question number 1. So I'm going to make this bigger so we can see it better. There we go. Okay, so what do we get? So we see that, I'll make this in black right here. Okay, it says figure X, Y, Z, W, X, Y, Z, W. Okay, let me get rid of this. Is a parallelogram. So it tells us it's a parallelogram, and we're going to use that to do questions 1 through 3, okay? So what it first says is it tells us angle X, so that's going to be this angle right here, right, is 75 degrees. So that's 75, right? Okay, and then it says angle XYW. Remember, the vertex is at Y, but we start at X, so we start at X over here, Y, and then W is this way, right? So that means, oops. Okay, so that means that's going to be this angle right here, okay? And they say that that's 65, so I'm going to put 65 right here. And then they're asking what is the measure of WYZ. So which one is WYZ? It's going to be WYZ. So we start with WYZ. So they're asking what is this one right here? Okay, so how do we solve that? Well, what we know is a few things about parallelograms. Yesterday we learned that this angle here is the same as the whole angle here, right? So 75 is equal to this, but this is 65, so now we have two angles. So that means that we're going to make, I'll make that X, okay? So that means that we're going to get 75 from right here plus 65 plus X, that's this angle right here, right, is equal to, together they equal 180 degrees. So we learned this yesterday, okay? So now you can solve for X. So try that and then come back and watch the video. Okay, so after I do the little bit of algebra, I put these two together, get 140 plus X equals 180, and I subtract 140 from both sides, so I get X is equal to 40, okay? So that's the answer for number 1, okay? So next thing is, which is right here, okay? So it's going to be 40, okay? Next thing is, what is the measure of angle YWZ? So YWZ is right here. So now we're looking for this angle, okay? So now we're looking for that angle, okay? Okay? Well, if you remember what I showed you in the video before, we know that this angle here is on the inside. Now we're using the diagonal, and it's on the inside, so it's going to be the same as the angle over here. Let me use this one, right? So this angle here is the same. It's on the other side of the diagonal as this angle here. So that means that's also going to be 65, okay? So that's going to be 65. Okay? Okay, good. So the next one we have is XWY. So it's going to be XWY. Okay, so it's going to be this one right here. So that equals 3x plus 10, right? Okay. What is the value of x? Well, what is the value of this? Well, we already know that this one over here is 40, right? So this right here is 40, okay? Well, this is on the opposite side of this one, so this angle and this angle are the same, right here. So this is also going to be 40, right? But this is telling us we need to find the value of x. So we need to set up an equation like that. Minus 10 minus 10, 3x equals 30 divided by 3. So we get 10 for that one. Okay, so that's how we do these kind of problems. So questions 4 through 6 are going to be the same. They're practice. I will let you go ahead and try to do these yourself and then come back for the video, and then I will show you how I got the answers if you want to check your answers. Okay, so if you've tried them out, it says A is equal to 70, so that means that's 70 degrees right there. BDC, BDC, BDC is this one, so that's going to be 60. Okay, what is BDA? What is BDA? Okay, so they're asking what that one is right there. Okay, that's what they're asking, question mark. Well, what do we know about this? Okay, well, we know that this angle plus this angle plus this angle, they're adjacent, right? So they equal 180 degrees. So, okay, since I know these three, these are adjacent, A and this whole angle here, then I can put 70 plus this here plus 60. So I put it right here equals 180. Put these two together, that's 130. 130 plus x, subtract 30 from both sides, and I get 50 for number 4. Okay, so why don't you try number 5 and come back for the explanation. Okay, so now we're going to be looking for measure ABD. So ABD is this one right here. So what is this one equal to, right? Well, remember, we already know that if this one right here is 60, that the alternate interior would be the same. So this is going to be the same as that. So that's very easy, right? Okay. So now number 6 says if CBD equals, so this one right here equals 4x plus 38, right? What is the value of x? So now we're solving for the x. Well, we know that this one here is going to be the same as this one. Well, we already solved that. That's 50, right? So we can just put equals 50. Okay, minus 38, minus 38. 4x equals 12, x equals 3, okay? So that's how you do these problems. Okay, so now for the rest of the assignment, there's more practice problems that follow. And all these, when it says, find the measurement of the indicated in each parallelogram, wherever you see this question mark right here, here, and all these right here, that's what you're solving for. So you're solving for some kind of an angle. After that, you're going to start solving for x. So whenever you see something like this, you're going to be solving for x. But that's one angle, okay? 22x, one angle, but you're solving for x, okay? This one here, it looks like a lot, but it's one angle. And you're solving for, again, solve for x. And then when you're done, make sure you put your answers in Canvas. I also gave you some review problems from yesterday's lesson. See if you remember that, and make sure you put your answers in Canvas.